Okay, so here we are, Wolverhampton Halfpenny Green, my absolute favourite plane in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the black square analog steam gauge Beechcraft King Air 350. We are going to be flying out today to Amsterdam Schipol. Before we can take off, we need to do pre-flight inspection of the aircraft. So just going to check all of the lights, all the bulbs, the casing, that nothing's broken, cracked. Check the leading edge of the wing. Again, looking for any cracks, any signs of damage. Get ourselves under the wing, take a look for any fluid leaks, and again for physical inspection of the wing. Look for all of our probes, make sure that again they're all in good condition, none broken. So just looking at the probes that will give us information, give the avionics information for stall speeds or departure to stall speeds. Check the ailerons, again check the edges, make sure that there's nothing wrong visually with any of the mechanics, nothing blocking movement. Again, no cracks. Same with flaps. All looks good. Baggage compartments. Check the underside of the plane as well. Again, anti-collision light. Make sure that there's no signs of fluid leaks. Check the tailplane. Again for structural integrity. No signs of damage. No obstructions. Our antenna. Can't reach up and obviously to physically run our hand across the tailplane, but again just check for signs of damage, check all the probes, check the lights. Oh, aircraft in the sky, where they should be. It all looks good. Continuing our walk around. Check the doors, handles, fastenings. Same inspection for the left side wing. Again underneath for signs of fluid leaks and any signs of physical damage, baggage compartments. Make sure that they are secure. Again, check the flaps, ailerons. Make sure there's nothing obstructing the maneuvering. Checking the probes, edge of the wing. Again, we'll check the light housings, all the bulbs, none broken. As we're here, we get down, hands and knees, check out the condition of undercarriage. sure again that everything looks good. Climb out. Check all of the propeller blades again for no signs of leading edge damage. Check the front undercarriage, tyres, landing lights, taxi lights, all in good condition. Finally, check starboard engine, again check all of the propeller blades. Check the intake for the inertial separator or the equivalent. We'll just climb into the rear of the cabin. Make sure we check starboard undercarriage to climb under the wing. Make sure we don't bang our heads. Okay, no signs of fluid leaks. Okay, so pass under the tail. All looks good. Climb in the back. Check the interior of the cabin. I'm going to take a full complement of passengers today since it's a short continental Europe trip. Let's crawl through. Don't want to bang our heads. So you have 10 passengers on board, friends and family, come watch the race as well. Look into the cockpit. Self, co-pilot. So yeah, who knows how I'm doing this out of body experience to look at myself in the cockpit. But this is where we'll be for the next 2 hours. So yeah, my favourite cockpit, favourite place to be, Microsoft Flight Simulator. And that is our pre-flight inspection done. So now it's a case of working our way through the pre-flight checklist. We'll take a look at our flight plan and our flight briefing, manifests and everything, and get ready to go. Okay. So let's pull up knee board. Let's make sure connected to VATSIM. Okay, let's make sure we also have VSR open. Put that over here. Okay, let's get to let's zoom in on our aircraft. Take them up at the ramp for small general aviation. So just going to take a look, take you through our flight briefing for today. So as you can see, it's going to be Wolverhampton Halfpenny Green to Amsterdam Schipol. We're probably running behind schedule a little bit today as well. Le Mans 24 hours takes place today. Had a lot of logistics to take care of, I should say, before we could get into the air. So as I said, we're in the King Air 350. We're supposed to be heading out at 13:30 UTC. Time is currently 13:21, so we're going to probably be a little bit behind the ball, but let's see if we can make up some time. And we should be getting in and shutting down around 15:08 to 15:16 UTC Amsterdam Schipol. So we're going to cover about 297 nautical miles across the ground, about 304 through the air, or airborne I should say. Fuel on board today, we've taken about £2,017. I think we've got about 2,022 on board as well. And as I said, because we've got like a full manifest of passengers, we are at, I think it's 2,300 pounds of payload. So trip time should be about 1 hour 18 minutes. We've got contingency fuel for an additional 5 minutes, 24 minutes to get to our alternate, and then also our final reserves of 30 minutes. So takeoff fuel, we should be at about £1,817, so we should burn about 200 for the taxi and all of the run-ups. So let me just sign that. So our route is going to take us direct from Wolverhampton. We're going to depart runway 34 to Honolulu, and then we're going to take the Airways P155 to UNGAP, Lima 608 to Charlie Lima November, Lima 620 to go for a REDFA transition on the REDFA 1 Alpha arrival into Amsterdam Schipol. We should be arriving runway 06. So as I said, estimated time out was 13:30. We'll see if we can make up any of that time. And estimated time off, we should be taking off about 13:50. We're probably going to miss that, but it's all good. So our block time ramp to ramp is going to be about 1 hour 46. Estimated, scheduled, it should be about 1 hour 30, but we'll see how we get along. So as I said, our payload, we have got the 2,300 actual, and our fuel, we have 2,022. So we're going to get up to, at the top of our climb, flight level 270. So as I said, we're going to leave Halfpenny Green. We're going to go direct to Honolulu 244, the track at 244. It's about 24 miles. We're then going to continue our climb, so we should be at, so I said 244, that's our flight level. We should be up around 244. So yeah, so we should get up to about flight level 244 as en route to Honolulu. Top of our climb will be flight level 270, and then along the airway Papa 155 will still be at 270, and then we'll start to descend as we get onto the airway Lima 608 for Daventry, down to flight level 230, and we'll stay at flight level 230 all the way on the airway through Olney, Poton, Admist, Clacton, until we get to the REDFA transition on Lima 620. That will still be at flight level 230, and then we'll start our descent. Hopefully that we'll have ATC en route, and we'll either manually take ourselves to each of these flight levels along the route, or we'll get ATC instruction on what level to fly. So then, yeah, the REDFA Alpha, or the REDFA 1 Alpha will be at the top of our descent, taking us down to flight level 169 for our REDFA transition. And I'm hoping that everything goes nice and smooth. Weather along the route, we've checked, so it's the forecast to potentially have thunderstorms over the UK in a few hours. So hopefully we'll be up and away long before that manifests. So no significant airmets, no significant weather data available for airmets or SIGMETs or tropical or volcanic ash. We've got no ATIS for our departure at Halfpenny Green. We do have for the latest for Amsterdam Schipol. So at the moment, what do we have? Let's see. Winds at 050, 11 knots, variable from 0 to 0 to 080. It's clear, visibility is okay. QNH is 1016. There's no significant weather to note. And then we've got, yeah, so then there's 060, 12 knots, clear visibility okay. Weather is going to become, well, if we've got 100 at 07 knots, 130 at 12 knots, 100 at 10 knots. So nothing too dramatic. Similar for our alternate Eindhoven at the moment. Weather clear, visibility is okay. No TAMs. So for Schiphol, there are some noise abatement procedures to be concerned with. Just scan through those. Then we've got the ubiquitous no TAMs at the moment due to the current conflict in Eastern Europe, Central Eastern Europe, the Ukrainian crisis. And then there are some obstacles, lights and chimneys at Amsterdam, with their positions noted. Runway 36 right has a max wingspan restriction. There are 2 cranes erected at Amsterdam as well. And then there's information about aircraft push and pull, clearance restrictions as in distance, more information on the cranes, and then also when parallel departures from runways 36 left and 36 Charlie are in progress, ATC will ask for the first waypoint on our SIDWIT arriving, so that's not applicable for us. Here we've got ILS for runway 36, and we should be having a 06 arrival unless anything changes en route, so not applicable for us at the moment, but we need to keep that in mind. And we can refer back to this at other points during the flight as well. Let's see. Okay, and then the rest are en route notifications that we will be significantly higher than. So things like glider activity, air show activity, balloon activity, wind farms. So they shouldn't be of any concern to us along our flight. And then weather, as we said, the winds are off the top of our climb, and then these are our approach plates. So I'm going to go back, be ready to copy any clearances along the way. Okay, so let's get to the start. Let's get to engine start. Let's go through quite a few pages to get to checklist. And then once we have power to the aircraft, we'll move to going through the checklist on the GTN 750. So we've done our pre-flight inspection of the aircraft. Check. Emergency lights on at night. Clear day, we don't need them. Air stair door is locked. Emergency exits are unlocked. Cabin loading is complete. Seat belts and harnesses are secure. Let me just tighten the VR. Okay, parking brake is set. Check. Control locks removed. They were when we did our walk around. Check. Standby and cross feed pumps are off. Auxiliary transfer pumps are at auto. Pilot circuit breakers all in. We can take a quick look at the co-pilot circuit breakers. They're all in also. Battery bus is at norm. Check. Bus sensor and bus ties at norm. Check AC inverters off. Anti-ice actuators are at main. Check. Starters are off. Auto feather is off. Check. Landing gear is down and locked. We saw it was down on the inspection and it's locked. Exterior lights are all off. Ice protection is all off. Check. Propeller sync is off. Check. Prop levers to ground idle. Check. Propeller levers can go to full forward. Feather, full forward. Feather, full forward. Check. Condition levers are at cutoff. Flaps are up and indicated. Friction locks are set. Trims centered. Check the aileron and the rudder as well. Oxyman dropout is pushed off. Passenger oxygen can come on. Cabin pressure mode is at pressure. Check. Rudder boost and electric trim coming on. Cabin master is off. Cabin lights are as required. Cabin accessories can come to on. No smoking and fasten the seatbelt sign to on. Vent blower is at low. Just check. Yep. Cabin temperature is as desired. Temperature mode, make sure it's at off. Bleed air valve environment on. Environment off. Aft blower as required, we'll leave it off now. Electric heater is off. Oxygen pressure, make sure it's at 1550 to 1850. Co-pilot circuit breakers, we check that they're all in. Lighting master as required, we don't need it, so we'll move it off. Windshield wipers, make sure they are both in the off position. Cockpit lighting as desired, microphones at the norm position. Battery master can now come on. That was external power. Check battery volts. 23. Test the annunciators. All illuminated. Annunciator brightness is fine. Fuel quantities are checked. Just going to clean my lenses one more time. Already covered in a little bit of condensation from the humidity. Got a bit of blurry view. Okay, so now we can go for engine start. So check, we've got that one ground handler there. When we did the walk around there wasn't another. So turn on the beacon to notify him and anyone else that's in the area that we will be starting engines. So it's the beacon on. Okay, propeller area, make sure it's clear. Clear prop. Gen tires, make sure that they're at man close at night. Right starter can come on. We will check engine NG till we get to 12, at least 20 is what I like to get to, %. And then the right condition lever can come up to low idle. Make sure that the engine ITT doesn't go above 1090. It doesn't. Nice. And controlled start. Oil and pressure temps are in the green. Engine NG is now at 65%. So we can turn the right starter off. Make sure that the right oil and fuel pressure annunciators are extinguished. Check. Right generator to reset and then on. Check the right generator DC load. It's 10 to 50%. Check volts are at 28 volts. Battery amps are positive. Right condition lever can come up to high idle. Check the prop area on the left. Clear prop. Left starter can go to start. Again, we're going to look for positive of 12%. Let it get to about 20. Low left condition lever can go to low idle. And again, we'll check to make sure the ITT doesn't go above 1090. Doesn't, it's a good start. Oil pressures and temps are in the green. NG is above 50%, so starter can now come off. Right condition lever can go to low idle. Left generator to reset then on. Left DC gen annunciator extinguished. Left gen load is at 10%. Generator 28 volts, battery amps positive. Gen ties can go to norm. Right generator, hold reset and check that the left volts are at 28. It's hard to do that with this, so we'll check. This engine's not complete. So now let's do the before taxi check. Cycle the fire detector and observe the annunciators. Check. Gear handle light test. Check. Stall warning test. Check. Gen ties to open. Gen ties annunciators. Check. Make sure the center volts match the battery volts. Check. Gen ties back to norm. Check. Center volts at 28. Check. Bus sense to test. Gentiles and unsated, check. Bus sense to reset. Gentiles and unsated extinguished, check. Check the triple feed valve, the triple fed feed is at 28 volts, it is. Triple fed volts, that was a mouthful. Bleed air's coming to open. Left open, right open, check. Pneumatic pressure is in the green, check. Temperature mode to auto. Duct temperature as desired. We're going to turn this to centigrade so that we're not looking at it in Fahrenheit. Check. Electric heater can stay off. Cabin master on. Check. Cabin accessories are as desired. Gyro suction is in the green. AC inverters can come on. To the left, right. AC bus enunciators extinguished. AC frequency is at 400. Let's test the volts. 120. Weather radar, make sure it is off or at standby. Check. Avionics can come on. Come on. Trying to move it. Here, there we go. Check the route compass. Is slaved. Check. Now we can set our flight instruments. Garmin has now come on. Disconnect the autopilot. It's a flight plan waypoint that is locked, but that's probably the wrong flight plan anyway. So let's start there. Let us, first and foremost, check. So we have, yep, we're 14 minutes off schedule at the moment. Fuel planning, let's connect it to the sensors. Trip planner, again, connect it to the sensors. Same for altitude and true airspeed tracking. Let's get our flight plan loaded. Haven't flown the plane in a few weeks, so some of it it's a little rusty. Okay, so there we go. So let's activate this. Replace the current route. We are good. So it was flight level 244 Honolulu. And 270 UNGAP. And let's go back to the flight plan for a sec. And that was the same all the way through. So it's UNGAP, and then Daventry is 230. As was Olney. Houghton. Admis? Yeah. Clacton is 230 as well. And then REDFA, still 230. But we need to load the approach. ILS 06. And it's a REDFA 1 alpha. Is it not there? I think it was Sugon, wasn't it? On the arrival plate. So yeah, it's Sugal. We'll leave it at vectors for now. Okay, so that's the flight plan. So get local airport info, elevation 285, we don't have an ATIS. So what are we showing? Yeah, about 285, so we're good over here. And so that's flight plan. Let's put up the checklist now. So that's before stop, we've done we did the before start, we did before taxi, No. Yep, we did before taxi. We got to flight instruments set. So audios and radios set. Let's set Unicom on COM2. Check. And let's set Unicom on COM1. Okay, radios checked. Flight controls. Free and correct. And you can see flaps. And indicating. We'll set our initial we'll set our cruise altitude. Okay, so that's annunciators considered, instrument flags all looking good. Exterior lights, it's so bright we don't need any at the moment, but let's put on taxi lights, put on nav lights, put on recognition, and put the tail light on just because, even though it's daylight. Now let's test the brakes. So parking brake disconnected, hold the brake pedal, pull throttle up, the engine RPMs, times to settle, release the brake, pull throttle forward a little bit more, movement and brakes checked, throttle's back to low idle, parking brake set. Okay, so now we don't need the checklist over here. We can go over to GTN 750, where it's much easier to follow. Okay, so our actual out was 13:44. So the power came on, and it is currently 13:57. So we're 7 minutes beyond our off time. Okay, so let's whiz through these. That's before takeoff checks we were doing. No, not before takeoff. Before taxi. So let's see. Before taxi, we're all the way down to. Yep, brakes checked. So yeah, it is before takeoff tests. Checks. Okay, so nose wheel is centered. Parking brakes are set. Electric trim actuate. Check. We need to move it back into a takeoff position. Autopilot always puts it into a descent when autopilot engages and the altitude is set at 0. So there we go, back to takeoff. Okay, why have you decided to interfere with that? Okay, so pitch and trim wheel, takeoff position done, electric trim cycle, pitch and trim annunciator observed, yaw damper engaged. check. Rudder boost cycle, annunciator observed. Heading bug. Let's move the heading bug. That's course. Heading bug. Left 30 degrees. Okay. Try that again. Check. Autopilot master engage. Done. Consider the autopilot annunciators. Go to heading mode. Observe the yoke. Observe the flight director. Heading can go 30 degrees to the right. Observe the yoke. Observe the flight director. Autopilot disengage. Engine anti-ice can come on. Annunciators. They aren't illuminated yet. Anti-ice actuators to main. There we go. Now they're enunciated. Engine anti-ice as required. We don't need it. It's a bit warm. So we'll turn it off. But we'll probably need it when we get up to our cruising level. Power levers are at idle. Auto ignition. Let's arm it. Ignition annunciators illuminated. Power levers, move them up to 17% torque. First the left, then the right. Ignition annunciator should extinguish. Front, now the right, there we go. Power levers back to idle. And the auto ignition annunciators arm, and now auto ignition can come off. Prop governor test. So where are we? We will hold it in, increase our RPMs, throttle's moving forward, prop RPMs should peg at 1600, release the governor, and they increase, hold it, they drop, throttle back to ground idle. We're going to skip through the prop levers. It's hard to do it without controller that allows you to independently move them whilst holding down the test. So electric heater is off, generator levels still good, battery amp meter still charging, external lights set them for takeoff. Ice protection, so we don't forget, we're going to turn on the fuel vent, prop, we're going to put on the ice light, we won't need it, but we don't need it, it's pure broad daylight. I'm going to put the stall warning anti-ice on and the pitot heat as well. Auto ignition, we're going to arm it. Auto feather, I'm going to arm that too. Engine anti-ice, it's not required at this point. Transponder, we're going to set to altitude. Weather radar, we need to move before we can do that. So let's release parking brakes, put some right rudder so we can steer away from this guy. Increase power. And go full right rudder so we don't decapitate him. Okay. And we will go right so that we can taxi to runway 34. Known around, but let's call. Need to check that our radio is transmitting, so let's pull up here. Just going to pop out of VR for a second. Going to check at the transmit button. Yep, it's working. Then come back. Wolverhampton traffic, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, King Air 350 taxiing to runway 34. Okay, so now weather radar can come on. Check. Pedal levers to full forward. Check. Condition levers to high idle. Check. Annunciators test. Check. Parking brake release. And let's taxi. With it, condition levers at high idle, it will really get up ahead of steam as it taxis. Wolverhampton traffic, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor holding Alpha 3 taxi to runway 34. Okay, so let's cross. Wolverhampton traffic, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, crossing runway 04 for taxiway to runway 34. There's nothing in the pattern, nothing manoeuvring. Wolverhampton, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor at Alpha 1, crossing runway 10 Lima for runway 34. Actually, that was runway 34 back there. So I need to go back. We just crossed. So we will cross, we'll turn around. There's nothing here, so we can turn around. That's runway 34 there. That's not. Don't second guess yourselves. Should have turned left off the ramp. But it's all good. Need to really be conscious of the speed. It's really getting up. Wolverhampton traffic, Bravo Echo Lima Victor at Bravo 2, crossing runway 16. Double check. It's nothing on final. Nothing in circuit. Okay. So now we can backtrack on the taxiway. That's runway 34. Okay, cabin temperature is 22 degrees C. Showing Fahrenheit for outside air, don't want that. On Celsius. Whoop. Left the taxiway. Good thing the King Air can land on unprepared fields, so we're good. I did that thing again where when the mouse is over one of the active windows or controls, it stops my controls working. Don't know why. Don't know what the conflict is. Okay. Here we are, runway 34. Wolverhampton traffic, Golf Bravo, Echo Lima Victor, holding at Foxtrot 1, runway 34. There's nothing else. Nothing else, so let's go to our takeoff checklist. Let's set autopilot to nav. And to climb. Cabin pressures are set. For altitude. We don't need flaps, but let's go to takeoff flaps. We'll set up power levers. Let's check our lights. We can turn off our taxi. Put on our engine anti-ice now, just so you don't forget it. Temperatures and pressures are all in the green. So we will check for our ITT temps, we will check for our pitch, landing gear to come up, landing and taxi lights up. Okay, we are good to go. So I will change this to Navigraph. Center it on our plane again. Zoom out a bit. So you can actually see the flight plan and the airways. Okay, we're going to take off, check the circuit one more time. There's no more traffic. Wolverhampton traffic, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor entering runway 34 for a departure to the northeast. Okay. There's no ATC, so we are good. They will call us if we enter into their controlled space. Let's get beyond.
Manchester final call. This is come to Tango Yankee, passing now 15,000 feet, climbing for level 370.
And brake. Final checks. Flaps. Takeoff. Engine temps. Pressures are in the green. Annunciator board. As expected. Just going to check the fuel levels one last time to make sure nothing changed. Yep, I think we're bang on what we expected for takeoff post taxi. So let's go. So parking brake release. parking brake is released. I'm going to pull the throttle forward. Check our trim, see how it's gone again to a pitch down. Make sure that it's set for takeoff. Okay, so we have to do checks. Never forget to do checks, don't take anything for granted. And move the throttles forward. Let the RPM rise gently. Don't want to shock the engines. Release the brake. Airspeed alive. A bit of left rudder. V1. Rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Past 600 feet, so we can go flaps up. Passing 1,200 feet. Wolverhampton traffic, Golf Bravo, Echo Lima Victor, leaving the circuit 1,400 feet to the east. We can put the autopilot on. Gauges all look good. Let's pull the props back a bit. Visibility is excuse me, amazingly clear. Okay, so put the flight plan. Okay, let's make sure that Navigraph is centered on the plane. Doesn't appear to be centering on the plane. Okay, there we go. I'll check Navigraph in a second. Looks like it might be stuck. Time is 14:25, so we can call it 14:20 for our off. That's 6,600 feet. Engine ITT's looking good. NG looking good. Torque's looking good. Propeller RPM's good, and pressures and temps for oil and fuel are good. Approaching 8,000 feet. So we can do our climb checklist. Power levers are set. ITT we just checked. Propeller levers set. Prop sync can come on. Checked engine instruments, exterior lights. We can take off our landing lights. Like I said, it's so bright we don't need the anti-ice lights. Ice protection. We're going to put the windshield ice protection on so we don't forget. Check the pressurization for the cabin. It's at climb. So it's looking good, and we'll check that again when we get to cruise. We're at 9,500 feet. Let's do the 10,000 feet check. Fasten seatbelt sign can come off. We've checked the exterior lights and we just checked cabin pressure. So next checklist will be the transition altitude. Traffic to our left. We'll keep an eye out for it. That's the flight plan. There's the map view actually. Excuse me. The weather's so good. Gotta anticipate there've been a lot of planes in the sky. The weather's so good. I expect there'll be a lot of VFR out, and because there is absolutely no cloud, there's really no restriction on the altitude they could be at. So like we can see the ground clearly from here. Unlimited all the way to the horizon, we can see the ground. So so VFR could be at any altitude. Just checking to see if there's any ATC come online that we should notify. And nope. So we're good. (12,800 feet). I think the transition level for Daventry or Honolulu actually might be 6,000 feet. We already have the altimeter set at standard, so we'll leave it. We can do, we're not anticipating any instruction not to continue climbing, so we can do our transition altitude check. Altimeter is set, cabin pressures, still climbing, still in the green. So next checks will be the cruise. Whilst it's nice and peaceful before we potentially pick up Dusseldorf approach or Eurocontrol or anything like that, just reminder, so this flight we're en route to Amsterdam Schipol in anticipation of the historic sim racing organisation's 1954 Gold Star race at Zandvoort tomorrow. It's going to be on the historic circuit layout. I'll be in the Maserati number 26 in the 2000cc category. My other teammate, Christoph Babi, is also in the 2000cc in the number 41 Maserati, and then our other teammate Henry Lewis Smith is in the 1500cc in one of the Porsches. I can't remember his car number. All three of us should be in the first race, which is the 1500s and 2000s over 25 laps, and anticipating that it's going to be eventful. So this should just be a short flight to get us there, get us over it, and then tonight can continue with our pre-qualifying laps and ensure that we're all prepared and ready for the race tomorrow. Sitting in my favourite cockpit in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the black square analog steam gauge King Air 350. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen any videos on it, which I'm sure you have if you're watching this, it's an amazing complementary module to the stock King Air in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it brings all of the cockpit to life. So every gauge you see is active, every switch, button, knob is interactive, all of the electrical and avionics systems are mapped, and everything including aircraft failures is as close to the real aircraft as is possible in simulation. So all of these flights are to help me get my proficiency for both VFR and IFR up to a level where I'm as confident as possible once I start taking the practical lessons for the VATSIM P1 PPL A private pilot's license. That's my personal development goal for 2023-2024. So if you haven't seen them already, I've gone back to do again the FS Academy flights. So I've completed the VFR Academy flights. I now need to do the IFR Academy flights again. And then once I've done the IFR Academy flights, I'll go back and do the Navigator and Voyager lessons as well, which will be the long distance VFR trips across UK, North America, New Zealand, and then the IFR flights as well, which longer distances again across all of those three regions and more. If we're at 18,000 feet, so flight level 180. Excuse me. So if you've either elected to go through the FS Academy flights as well, it'd be really interesting to hear of your experiences in the comments, either here or in any of the videos for the lessons that I've posted. So if you've only just come across them and you're going through them, it would be good to hear what you found challenging, see if it was the same sort of things I found challenging, what you found really easy, see if it's something I really struggled with, or if you've looked through my videos and you've seen I struggled with something I really shouldn't. Positive constructive criticism is welcome. Any and everything that helps me, as I said, improve my practical skill set and theoretical. It's the theoretical usually that I struggle with more so, because I'm not consistently flying Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm back now after about a 10-year hiatus, so a lot of the natural VFR, IFR skills that I had are either dusty, rusty, or expired. I need to get back on top of them. So yeah, it'd be really good. Okay, so let's have a look. Heathrow has tower, ground and approach up. So Stansted has tower and approach. Manchester has tower and approach. Gatwick has ground, tower and approach. So I don't think we'll pick up any of those, although it's possible that Heathrow approach might, because we're likely to go through, or possibly will go through their controlled space. But yeah, so it's everything like that. So I've got the VSR, as you can see on the right. Didn't have that until a couple of months ago, so that I can see VATSIM controllers that are online, and also can see when I'm approaching any controlled airspace, and also you can see if I'm receiving any messages. If you want to go back and see how that all went wrong before I had VSR, I've got a flight pilot deviation, although I think I've spelt the thumbnail Viviation. I don't know why, but I'm just going to leave it like that. And I ended up clamoring through controlled airspace, thinking that I had done all my checks, that there was no ATC online. Excuse me. That I was making my calls on Unicom. However, there was ATC online, and I was in controlled airspace for Paris-Charles de Gaulle. Especially criminal, I was in controlled airspace on final approach, and there was a TCAS moment, an actual TCAS warning, as on final approach another aircraft that I was obviously conflicting with, passed by on our port side. Can't have been more than 300-400 meters. Now we've got the VSR. And there's a link to that, I think, in the description. If not, I will add it. I've also got my point controllers, which allow me to emulate VR controllers and just point around and click on any control that I need to manipulate in the aircraft, which makes it so much easier in VR. You don't have to hold VR controllers in your hand and try and hold onto a joystick or a yoke. Instead, you can just have the controllers fastened to your forefingers and just use your thumb to manipulate the controls, the buttons that are on those control units. Again, if you want to see that, there's a link to that in the description as well. They are like game changers for me. What's also helped and really changed the game is the RTX 4090 that I finally stopped procrastinating over and through my credit card app, which means that right now with 10.7 gig of VRAM in use, I'm only using 47% of it, of what I've got available, the 24 gig, whereas before I had RTX 3080 and that only has 11 gig of VRAM available. So I was getting stuttering, and it was really challenging to have the resolution high enough to be able to see gauges and stuff in the cockpit, especially the glass displays, I should say, without causing performance bottlenecks. So now I've also then on top of that gone from the Pimax 5KX to the Pimax 8KX, sorry, which means that with the 4090 just means that looking around this cockpit is, I can't describe it, it's an amazing experience. You can actually read the labeling on all of the switches and the knobs. You can actually read what is in the glass displays. We're approaching our cruise level. So let's go to our cruise checks. Power levers are fine. Props can probably come back a bit more. Inlet turbine temperatures are all looking good, and auto feather can come off. We are in the cruise. So yeah, so those things all combined mean that this cockpit is just an amazing place to be, especially because everything is clickable. It was one of the reasons that I went for the Steam Gauge 350 as well, because the King Air 350 that comes stock with Flight Simulator is glass screens, and it's hard to, at that time it was hard to read them. It still would be a challenge now. I would still need to lean forwards to get close to be able to read them. So I wanted to get as many Steam gauges as possible in front of me because it's so much easier to read those, and now even more so. So it would have been, if it wasn't the King Air, I would have wanted to dedicate most of my flying to the TBM, because I just love that plane as well. I love the look of it. It just looks so beautiful from the outside. But again, its cockpit is all glass displays, so unless Black Square decide to do a Steam Gauge version in analog, I don't think I would be spending a lot of time flying in that. But I don't feel that I need to go to any other cockpit now. I don't. It's unlike in DCS where I buy module after module after module and then don't even fly them. For Flight Simulator, for me, it's more about the flying experience. I have the Just Flight Piper Arrow 28 Warrior 2 for VFR. I got that so that again I would have something that was analog gauges, but for the VATSIM lessons it has to be either. Okay, so we should be at a different flight level now. That's what it's calling. We should be at 230. So it's odd east, even west. So we'll set that and we'll set the descent. Autopilot will now take us down. Bring the throttle back so that we don't overspeed the airframe on the descent, even though it's only 1,000 feet. Feet to go, so we can bring the throttles forward as we intercept the new cruise flight level. Okay. That's the TDX GTN 750 TDS GTN 750. Again, that's an amazing piece of kit as the module. So it gives those audible warnings and notifications. So I think I missed at least 2 or 3 vertical tracks.
Luton traffic, stop to 350 miles out.
Where it was nudging me to change altitude, so...
Stop traffic, by now 880,
that's what I get for rabbiting on. But yeah, so so between those 2 airframes, I need to alternate my seat time. Need to spend time in the Piper Arrow, the Warrior 2, because the VATSIM lessons have to be either in a Cessna 172 or the Piper Arrow 28, because it has to be one of the high wing fixed gear aircraft for the lessons. So I need to maintain my familiarity in that, whilst also the King Air is where I've always wanted to be. I got a King Air module back when we had Flight Simulator, was it 2000? But at the time there was no such thing as VR. Well, there was, but not commercially. None of the extensive range of buttons and switches, like all of these circuit breakers on the pilot side panel and on the co-pilot panel, they all function. And if you pop one, it actually has an impact on the electrical circuit that circuit breaker is attached to. None of those worked in that module, so it was an unfulfilling experience, and I don't think I did more than 1 or 2 flights in it.
Contact 4 on the ILS 04.
So it's been a bit of a goal and ambition to one day get to the point where, like today, I could be virtually sat in the cockpit, all of the gauges and all the switches work, and then I can spend time maintaining a virtual rating in it, getting to the point where not only can I intuitively go through the normal procedures and maintain cognizance of what is happening in the cockpit, what the instruments are telling me, what it sounds like, so I can immediately spot when something is abnormal, and then get to the point where again I'm confident and fluent in the abnormal procedures too. So like I was saying, the time I spent the last few weeks doing the Flight Sim Academy flights meant I wasn't in the King Air cockpit, and that's why going through the checklist, it's always slower manually going through it with it on the kneeboard, which I've realised I've taken off the charts. Going through it on the kneeboard is always, I think I'm going to have to restart nav graph charts is not working, so let's do that now. Accidentally clicked in the cockpit when I was meant to be clicking on my desktop, so that scared me. Wasn't sure what I might inadvertently be clicking on. Okay, so now Navigraph should be working. However, that was interesting. That was an accident. I didn't mean to do what just happened. But it was interesting to see that there's an optional autopilot panel there that I did not know existed. Okay, so now it's tracking where we are on our flight plan. There we go. Yeah, I did not know there was an optional autopilot panel there. Okay, it's easy to read that one. Okay, I'll try and remember that next time. I'm struggling to see down because either the VR's got a bit, again, a build up of condensation. Ooh, traffic at our 2 o'clock. Looks like it too is crossing the channel. So yeah, that's it. The other thing, I need to make sure that even though we're IFR, because there's two aircraft over there actually. Even though we're IFR, because there's no ATC, need to make sure I keep an eye out for any traffic conflicts. I had contemplated doing the Canary Islands flying last weekend. That would have had a lot of ATC up and supporting, but it just meant that there was a conflict in my plans for the weekend. It was better that I actually got on my bike and got some exercise in instead. Let's take a look at our fuel plan now. So we're currently doing 240 knots across the ground. We'll have 2 hours worth of reserves once we get to Amsterdam, so we have plenty of fuel on board and we're using it at a slower rate than planned. We have about 42 minutes left of the flight to go. We'll arrive probably 1600 local time, 1602. So 1502 UTC, it's 1455 at the moment. And the trip planner, so yeah, with true airspeed is 250 at the moment actually. Outside air temperatures minus 15 degrees Celsius. So we're in a good place. All the gauges, so gyro, oxygen, pneumatic, all green. All engine gauges are green. Oil and fuel pressure and temperatures are in the green. Getting a little bit of buffeting at this altitude. It's to be expected. Temperatures are so high today in the UK. They're supposed to get up to 28 degrees by around 1600 UTC, so it's not surprising they would have a bit of turbulence. "22 miles to go left on this track towards Clacton." So Clacton on Sea, just off the nose. Also just off the nose is another aircraft. 11:30 low. There's one 12:30 crossing our nose slightly, maybe right to left. And then there's one there 11 o'clock high or 10:30 high. And then there's one there at 8:30 high. I expect that there's more to our right, just can't see them. As I said, fully expect there to be a number of aircraft in the sky. The way that one's wavering around, it's got to be net code. Whether it's my connection or their connection or Microsoft Flight Simulator having one of its connection moments. Mine keeps flashing on and off, and that's definitely Microsoft Flight Simulator. So currently getting 33 frames per second, 36 a minute ago. And it's spent, I don't mind saying it's spent, it's taken. And I don't mind saying, because I'm quite sure anyone else that's a flight simmer is in exactly the same position, where it is definitely you need to invest copious amounts of money to try and keep up with the software, the hardware, and if you want to be able to have the eye candy, you literally have to pay through the nose. So I'm still paying for the 4090. Because as I said, I was procrastinating on buying it, waiting for the price to come down. I wasn't sure whether or not it would fit in my case. And then it just got to a point where the bottlenecking was just, it was just killing me. It was really interfering with not just Flight Simulator, but DCS was really chugging along. Absolutely nothing on the weather radar. Everything is absolutely clear. Take a moment to review the approach. So final approach course is 056. Decision altitude, need to refer to the chart. Okay. So we are coming in it's actually, there's another way we could do it. Okay, so we need to descend. Do we? No, we're good. It's like we're following that traffic ahead and above us. Don't see any more now. Okay, so let's check out our arrival charts. So approach. Runway 06. So we'll come off Seagull. So we'll come off Seagull, maximum flight level of 140 or minimum of flight level 100. That's a Seagull 1B transition. A track of 111 degrees. Okay. And let's have a look at our arrival. It's not that one. This one. So we're going to come off REDFA. To Sulet, then to Seagull. Let's have a look at that on the chart. So there you go, we're coming from via REDFA, Sulet, that'll then bring us into Seagull. So altitude is set by ATC, as is the transition level. Okay. Navigation in initial and intermediate approach is based on radar vectors provided by ATC. Altitude at initial approach fix is at ATC's discretion. Clearance limit is SUGL, and we looked at that maximum flight level 140, minimum 110. REDFA, we have to be at or below flight level 230. That will be fine, we'll be at it. And then to Sulut to Sugal, maximum speed is 250 knots. We'll be well below that. And that'll be between flight level 100 and flight level 070. So as long as we are above flight level 100, we can be faster than 250, but as soon as we go below, we need to be at 250 max. Okay. So we should be at REDFA, just 34 miles to go. So at or below 230. It's in its vectors, so that's all good. Make sure we've got the red for 1 alpha in the plan. Oh, there it was. Here we go, red foot, 1 alpha. We want that arrival. There we go. So now we've got the arrival in. There we go, red for 1 alpha arrival. Perfect. Traffic, look at that, like a Christmas tree. Crossing the channel now, so 1, 2, 3 across the sky from 10:30 to what is now 1 o'clock or 12:30. cut. Don't see anything from our 2 till 4. Nothing from our 7 through to 10. Okay. Gauges all still look good. It's possibly that my eyes are watering. That's what's making the view a bit misty in here. Because I've got the fan on. KS base to that. To try and keep the ambient temperature and the volcanic temperatures coming off the 4090 under some semblance of control. Quiet day for ATC, but I'm not surprised. It's Le Mans 24 hours today. Race should have started. Yeah, race has started. Race started probably what, an hour and a half ago. I'll have to catch up on the race start on YouTube. Once I've got this flight done, then my weekend is my own, because I'm aiming to do all of the flights in sequence, so flying from each of the race venues in real time. So as the race is tomorrow, need to make that flight today or yesterday. Otherwise it would have meant a morning flight tomorrow, afternoon flight to make sure we're at the venue, and it really should be at the venue today to take part in practice, and it actually should have been yesterday really, take part in practice and qualifying today. But since the race session will have practice, qualifying, race all in one on the Sunday, getting there on a Saturday is perfectly fine. And then next weekend will be the flight from Amsterdam to the next venue. So I did all the flights so far for the 1954 season. So it started in Milan all the way to Argentina, Buenos Aires, via UK, Iceland, Greenland, Canada, eastern seaboard of North America, and then all the way back to get to the round at Castle Combe, Bristol area. So that instead of doing that same route in reverse, crossed over the North Atlantic on a North Atlantic track, and then from Castle Combe, so from Bristol, flew back into Wolverhampton, which then brings us to where we are today, Wolverhampton out to Zandvoort. But then after that, as I said, I want to do all the flights for the rest of the season and then next season as well. And all of that is to, again, just make sure that I've got some sort of routine and schedule in place to make sure that I maintain my rating in the King Air, both VFR and IFR, and that I stick to the FS Academy lessons in between, so that each of those subsequent flights to get from each of the HSO venues hopefully sees me demonstrating a improved level of skill. Okay, so does it want us to descend? Don't need to descend. So we're at REDFA. Should activate the arrival. It's loaded. I want to make sure that it's active. So 0.5 nautical miles. Our next leg should be from REDFA to Sulut. Okay. I think if I hadn't have made that change, it would have taken us direct overhead Amsterdam Schipol and then wanted to bring us back to the arrival fix. Okay, so we need to get down to flight level 135 now. So we're at the descent. So come back on the power. So we don't overspeed the aircraft. Let's do our descent checks. One is going to be that the fasten seatbelt sign comes on. Pressurization, let's set it for a airfield elevation, which is minus 11 feet. Okay. So let's set that. Auto feather to arm. Exterior lights, put the landing lights on. Scanning outside. Ice protection is as required already. And we've done the no smoking, fasten seatbelt sign. Okay, so the next checklist will be approach. Exterior lights are already done. Ice protection is already done. We've checked for cabin temperature and pressure, I should say. Check our fuel balance. And then it's going to be flaps to approach. Okay, 20 miles to the fix. Let's see if we can actually pick up airports METAR information so that we know what to set the altimeter to. So it's QNH 1015. Since we don't have ATC, we have to do that ourselves. Okay. Fuel pressures, temperatures look good. Oil pressures, temperatures look good. Engine gauges all good. High gyro and pneumatic looks good. Okay. Approaching our flight level, 1,300, 13,000 you would get, 500. So we can bring power forward again. Still no ATC. Ten more miles on this track. About 2 more minutes and 15 seconds. You can see that here on the HSI. Distance to go, time to go. Keeping an eye out for any other traffic. Sun's behind us, it's getting a bit dark in the cockpit, so let's bring on some lighting. There we go. So the decision altitude was ATC, we have to check the chart to say 1C. So radar minimums. Transition altitude is 3,000 feet. The airport. Okay, so multiple runways. Okay, so what? 20 miles to go on this track. Jasugal. We need to be at flight level 100 maximum. So we'll go 900. Let's bring the, make sure the throttles are not too high, we don't want to overspeed. Okay, so the airport is, so yada yada yada, we've got birds in the vicinity, Highest obstacle in the immediate area is 6 nautical miles to the northeast. North Sea Canal is 7 nautical miles north. Sea is 11 to the north. Nautical miles, I should say, to the west. Preferential runway programs in effect. Okay. We want minima. Runway 06. Displaced threshold of a usable landing length of 10,190 feet. Still don't have a decision altitude. Okay, coming up on our new altitude, so you can bring the power back up. Everything still looks good outside the cockpit. Everything looks good inside the cockpit. Six nautical miles to go. So we'll be at our arrival. So it will be flaps, no smoking sign, and fast seatbelts is on. We're going to leave the decision altitude at 200 because 200 meters, 500 feet. No, 200 feet. Radar is at 500 feet. So we'll put it to 500 feet. Give ourselves loads of time to make a decision. Before landing, it'll be gear, exterior lights, so landing lights are on. Ice protection, engine anti-ice, prop sync will come off. And its cabin pressures, it's in descent and it's looking good. So we can tick that. Okay, and there we are. We are now flying our arrival. We need to be down 2,000 feet. That's 7 nautical miles. Amsterdam Schipol traffic, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, 25 nautical miles west on a REDFA 1 Alpha arrival, ILS runway 06. Call our intentions. See the coast. (6,800 feet). Bring the power back even more, almost to flight idle. See the port ahead of us. (4,700 feet). Gauges look good. So final course was 056. Let's get the ILS frequency. Okay, so for all forward, it's 12120. And it was from Amsterdam approach. Approach Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor with you, 2,200 feet.
Ja, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, turn right heading 175, vectors for the ILS approach runway 06.
Turn right heading 175, Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
EG370 runway 06 clear to land, de wind 040 degrees, 13 knots.
That EG370, I think we're a bit too high for this.
Yeah, okay, well, it's your call to go around, sir.
We do an NFS.
Clement 350, this is 2,000 feet, QNH 1015.
This one 110.
QNH 1015.
Put that into standby.
Springbok 56, contact ground 121.8, bye-bye.
Switching to ground 121.8. Springbok 56.
Schedule approach, good afternoon, 49 Mike at holding point, runway 36 left, ready for takeoff.
KLM 49 Mike, hello, runway 36 left, clear takeoff. The wind 040 degrees, 13 knots.
Clear for takeoff, runway 36 left, KLM 49 Mike, thank you.
KLM 1350, reduce speed 180 knots.
Speed 180 knots, KLM 1350.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, is a 6-mile lineup sufficient for you?
Bravo Echo Lima Victor, copy, roger, lineup is sufficient.
Okay, roger, expect a 6-mile lineup.
6-mile lineup, Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
Beeline 2009, right heading 115.
Heading 115, beeline 2009. Can you say again the heading, because this took us left, beeline 20.
Yeah, right heading 115, sir.
Sorry, 115, beeline 2009.
Okay, this is going to get intense, so no commentary from me. I need to listen out for instructions.
KLM 49 Mike identified, climb flight level 130.
Climb 130, KLM 49 Mike.
Got multiple aircraft on approach.
Bravo Echo Lima Victor, left heading 150.
Left heading 150, Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
And Bravo, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, what's your final approach speed?
Currently 200 knots indicated, but we'll take instruction.
Yeah, okay. In that case, normal speeds if possible, so 160 until 4 DME and 180 until the glide.
Copy. 140 to 60 ME. Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
Bravo Echo Lima Victor, left heading 090, cleared ILS approach runway 06.
090, cleared approach ILS 06, Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
KLM 1350, right heading 320.
Right heading 320, KLM 1350.
We'll bring the flaps down soon.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, you have overshot, so left heading 030 to correct.
030, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
Amsterdam approach today, easy 126, service you, button for level 70.
Easy 126, identified, descent flight level 40, proceed direct, Sierra Papa Lima.
Proceed direct, Sierra Papa Lima, easy 126, and continue descent to 4,006.
Yeah, descent flight level 40, information Foxtrot, vectors ILS approach runway 06.
Vector ILS approach runway 06, easy 126.
KLM 1350, right heading 030, cleared ILS approach runway 06.
Right 030, cleared ILS approach runway 06, KLM 1350.
KLM 49 Mike, nothing further, monitor Unicorn 122.8, bye bye.
122.8, thank you, bye bye.
Beeline 2009, left heading 040, descent, maintain flight level 40 for now.
Heading 0, left heading 040, 4000, flight level 40 for now, beeline 2009.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, you're not capturing the localizer, disregard. Yeah, you're way too high think. So do you want to continue or what?
If I could continue, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, descending. Sorry, I failed to capture the localizer.
Okay, Roger, contact tower 119.225.
119.2.
Yeah, decimal 225.
One 119.225. Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor. Tower Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor on final approach, runway 06.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, runway 06, clear to land, wind 040 degrees, 13 knots.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor going around TCAS alert on final.
Okay, Roger, turn right heading 150, climb and maintain 3000 feet.
Right 150, climb maintain 3000 feet. Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
KLM 1350, runway 06, clear to land, wind 040 degrees, 13 knots. Easy 126, right heading 240. Beeline 2009, descent 2000 feet, QNH 1015. Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, speed 220 knots.
220 knots, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
Beeline 2009 and left heading 030, cleared ILS approach runway 06. Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, right heading 260.
260, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
EC 126, speed 220 knots, left heading 150, descent 2000 feet, QNH 1015.
Schipol Tower, Beeline 2009 on the final runway 06.
Beeline 2009er, runway 06, cleared to land, cleared to land, wind 040 degrees 13 knots.
Clear to land, runway 06, Beeline 2009.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, contact approach 121.2.
121.2 Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
Uh, 225, 126, thank you very much, bye-bye.
Approach Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor with you 3,000 feet.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, right heading 030, cleared ILS approach runway 06.
Right 030, cleared ILS runway 06, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
Yeah, and I forgot that you were still on the tower frequency because I cross-coupled the frequencies and I couldn't reach you. So yeah, now it's fixed.
Copy, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor. Okay, I need to get NAV 2.
And Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, standard speed, so 180 until the glide, 104 DME.
180 Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor. Still need to get my NAV 2 on 1105. I forgot to set that.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, you're not intercepting the localizer, right heading 0702 correct, and make the visual because I don't think you have your ILS set up right.
Copy, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor 070 visual approach 06 NAV. Apologies.
Yeah, no problem, and just to confirm, cleared for the visual approach, runway 06, report runway inside.
Copy, runway in sight, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
Roger, in that case, contact tower 119.225. Bye bye.
119.225 Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, and thank you for your help. Tower Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor on visual approach runway 06.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, number 2 is almost vacating, wind 05013 knots. Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor cleared to runway 06, cleared to land, wind 050 degrees, 13 knots.
Clear to land, runway 06 Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
Easy 126,
Easy 126, contact Schiphol ground 121.8. We have auto handoff in Amsterdam.
Roger, 121.8, easy 126, thank you very much for that.
I'm missing something in my setup, but something I haven't configured so that we automatically intercepted the ILS. I need to check that after, so we're below glide, but we're taking a visual approach. So there's the obstruction that the NOTAM's called out, the wind tower, just to our left. So gears down and locked, flaps are at landing, engine gauges are good. .600 feet. Glide slopes coming down to meet us. Got visual on the PAPI. Slightly right, slightly left.
500.
Decision how altitude alert. Okay, got my landing point fixed. They're definitely low. Okay, starting to intercept the glide again. There's an aircraft on the runway. Okay. Idle. Flare. Touchdown. Flaps up. Tower Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, clear runway 06 at Sierra 2.
Golf Lima Victor, contact ground 121.8.
Ground on 121.8, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor. Ground, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, clear runway 06 holding at Sierra 2.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, good afternoon. Taxi to Golf Lima via Bravo Echo 4 and Golf 2. At Echo 4, cross runway 36 right. At Golf 2, hold short runway 04.
Ground, please repeat for Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
Taxi to Golf Lima via Bravo Echo 4 and Golf 2. At Echo 4, cross runway 36 right. At Golf 2, hold short runway 04.
Taxi to Golf Lima via Bravo Echo 4 Golf 2 at Echo 4 cross runway, hold short cross runway to Golf 2. Bravo Echo Lima Victor. Okay, let's get this. Golf Lima via Bravo. Need to get up.
Easy 126, I don't find the hotel too.
Easy
Airport
126,
chart.
go straight ahead. First on your right is Alpha. Turn right on Alpha, turn right on Alpha 19er, and Hotel 2 will be in front of you.
Okay, thank you very much. Alpha to Alpha 19er, continue, Easy 126, thank you much.
Let's get the airport taxi chart to make sure we don't go the wrong way. We're at Sierra 2. So Bravo to Golf. Okay. So Sierra 2 via Bravo.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor. On your right hand side is Bravo. Follow Bravo all the way up to Echo 4 and take a right turn.
Copy ground. I was just reviewing the chart to make sure I didn't take the wrong turn. Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
Lufthansa Cargo 235, ready for propulsion start.
Lufthansa Cargo 235, information Bravo, QNH 1015, pushback to startup approved, pushback facing Sierra 2.
Pushback facing Sierra 2, QNH 1015, Lufthansa Cargo 235.
Okay, that's Bravo. I'm to the left of Bravo. So it needs to get on to Bravo. Hold at Golf.
Easy 126, which is my son.
Easy 126, that's Hotel 2, straight ahead.
Okay, Hotel 2, say that. Easy 126.
So Bravo, Echo 4, hold at Echo 4, Golf. That's Sierra 4. Need to figure out why, what I missed, that I didn't get the localizer. Intercept. I think I should have been in approach mode, like delayed switching, but still better to call the missed approach when I saw the other aircraft. We've got the TCAS alert. Better to then follow ATC instructions to come back. And I was going to
KLM 427 Heavy, ready for push and start.
ask for visual
KLM
eventually if it
427 Heavy,
continues happening.
information Bravo, QNH 1015, pushback and startup approved.
Yeah, Bravo, push and start approved for KLM 427.
Still on Bravo. Still on Bravo. Echo 1.
Lufthansa Cargo 235 ready for taxi.
Lufthansa Cargo 235, taxi to holding point runway 36 left at Sierra 2, hold short runway 06.
At Sierra 2, hold short 06, Lufthansa Cargo 235.
Okay, so should be coming up to Echo 2. Still challenging to see the taxi signs in VR. When we get to Echo 4, we've got to hold short. Echo 2.
Lufthansa Cargo 235 at Sierra 2, hold short, contact tower 119 at decimal 225.
Echo 4 up
119
ahead.
225 at Sierra 2, Lufthansa Cargo 235.
Echo 4. Ground Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor holding at Echo 4.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor at Echo 4, cross runway 36 right at Golf 2, hold short runway 04.
Cross runway 36 right at Golf 2, hold short. Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor. Okay.
Schiphol ground, good evening, Lufthansa 6 Victor uniform, standard Bravo 31, information Charlie to Hanover, request startup.
Lufthansa 6 Victor uniform, good evening, and you are cleared to Hanover, Arnhem 2 Victor departure runway 36 left, initial time flight level 60 and squawk 1000.
Clear to Hanover via Arnhem to Victor departure, runway 36 left, initial climb level 60, squawk 1000,
Okay.
Lufthansa 6 Victor uniform.
Lufthansa 6 Victor uniform, read back correct, report fully ready.
Cool.
Golf 4. Impossible to see it on here. Okay, so Golf 2 is up there on our right. Then Golf Lima will be at the end of Golf 2.
November 251 Bravo, radio check.
November 251 Bravo, read your 5.
Let's go for 5, thank you. November 251 Bravo, requesting VFR clearance, current position Kilo 26.
November 251 Bravo, startup is approved, runway 04 in use, QNH 1015, squawk 0060, and information Charlie.
Could you repeat the squawk please?
Squawk 0060.
Information Charlie 04 and 2 in use, QNH 1215, squawk 0060.
November 251 Bravo, correct. Report ready at Golf Delta, please.
Report ready at Golf Delta. Lieutenant 6 Victor Uniform, stand Bravo 31, request startup and pushback.
Lufthansa 6 Victor Uniform, information Charlie, QNH 1015, pushback and startup approved.
Information Charlie, QNH 1015, push and start approved, Lufthansa 6 Victor Uniform.
Ground Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, holding at Golf 2.
At Bravo, requesting taxi today.
Yeah, that was 3 of you all together. Lufthansa Cargo 6 Victor Uniform, taxi to holding point, runway 36 left at Whiskey 5, cross runway 36 center.
Wrong Coston, I believe.
Lufthansa Cargo 235, taxi to holding point, runway 36 left at Whiskey 5, cross runway 36 center.
36 left at Whiskey 5, cross 36 center, Lufthansa Cargo 235.
KLM 8867, taxi via Bravo to stand Hotel 1.
Via Bravo to Hotel 1, KLM 8867.
KLM 427, taxi to holding point, runway 36 left at Whiskey 5, cross runway 36 center.
Ground Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, holding at Golf 2.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, please stand by.
KLM Cargo or KLM 427 taxi.
KLM 427, taxi to holding point, runway 36 left at Whiskey 5, cross runway 36 center.
Taxi 36 left Whiskey 5 and cross 36 anyone south, cut back into Alpha.
Affirmative, Quebec and Alpha.
Thank you.
November 251 Bravo, holding Golf Delta.
November 251 Bravo, taxi to holding point Golf 5 via Golf. November 251 Bravo.
Taxi to Golf 5 via Golf. 251.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, cross at Golf 2, cross runway 04 after the plane has vacated from left to right.
Cross 04 after the traffic has vacated left to right. Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor.
Lufthansa 6 Victor, uniform taxi to holding point runway 36 left at Whiskey 5, cross 36 center, taxi fire call, Quebec.
There he is, right there in front of us.
Taxi holding point 36 left at Whiskey 5, cross runway 36 center, and taxi via Quebec to 260 telephone.
Sound Speedbird 362 request appearance to Hanover information requirement.
We can now cross. Still going to check
Speedbird
for traffic.
362, you are clear to Hanover, Arnhem 2 Victor, departure runway 36 left. That was initial ground flight level 60, squawk 1000.
Speedbird 362 clear to destination Hanover, Arnhem 2 Victor, departure out of runway 36 left, initial flight level 60, squawk 1000. Speedbird 362.
Speedbird 362, read that correct report fully ready.
Speedbird 362.
And that's Golf Lima right in front of us.
November 251 Bravo, please check the squawk 0060.
Yes, 1 second.
Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, frequency change approved.
Frequency change approved, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor. Thank you, good day.
Speedbird 759, you're at Ram Golf, received information echo,
So we
request
can
clearance
park
to Heathrow as well.
and shut down.
Speedbird 759, you are clear to Heathrow, Vola 3 Victor, departure runway 36 left. Initial climb flight
Golf
level
Lima's
60,
on our right
squawk
or left?
337.
All right.
Clear runway 36 left departure, flight level 60, squawk 7337, Speedbird 759. Speedbird 759, just confirmed, Vola 3 Victor departure.
Victor 3 departure, Speedbird 759er.
Speedbird 759, that's Vola 3 Victor, it's intact also. German Cargo 235, contact tower 119.225, have a good flight, bye-bye.
119.225, thank you, bye-bye.
Confirm Vola 3 Victor departure, Speedbird 759er.
Speedbird 759, read that correct, report fully ready.
We are here. We've got ground tower and approach. There's no one. There's no delivery. We don't need anyone else. Okay, so that is it. We can now
November 251 Bravo, our squawk should now be set correctly. Could you verify?
November 251 Bravo, affirmative squawk is set at Golf 5, hold short runway 04.
do. in time
Taken for
is
251.
251 Bravo, your squawk is set correctly. Taxi to holding point Golf 5, hold short.
Taxi to Golf 5, hold short.
time is 16:20.
Request pushback clearance, Speedbird 759er.
Speedbird 759er, pushback and startup approved once the traffic has passed behind.
Startup and pushback approved once traffic has passed from behind, Speedbird 759er.
Okay.
Standard 22 registration start.
Speedbird 362, pushback and startup approved.
So landing, gear flaps, and flaps are up now. Cabin altitude, power levers, prop levers, autopilot, brake, prop levers. Okay. All check. Do a debrief in a second. Okay, after landing, engine anti-ice comes off. Excuse me. Auto ignition off. Exterior lights. Leave everything. Turn everything off, I should say. The beacon. The engine's still running. Ice protection can all come off. Flaps are up, cabin pressure equalised.
427, contact tower 119.225.
Weather radar to
Have a good
stand
flight,
by.
sir. Bye-bye.
19225 for KLM 4272.
On the blocks at Hotel 1, KLM 886.
Parking brake is set.
KLM
Auto feather
867,
off.
thanks for flying Amsterdam. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the service, sir, and bye-bye, KLM 886.
Exterior lights, oxygen
November
handle
251
to off.
Bravo, Echo Golf 5, hold short, contact tower 119.225. Have a good flight. Bye-bye.
Emergency lights are off. Avionics master will do it in a second so we can finish the checklist.
Contact tower 119.225.
AC inverters can come off. Shadows of planes taken off above us. Cabin master to off. Cabin lights as required. Cabin no smoking and the seatbelt sign can come off. Vent blower to low, set low. Temperature mode to off. Bleed air to environment off. Aft blower is off already. Electric heater is off already. ITT is stabilized.
Ready for a taxi, Speedbird 759er.
Speedbird 759er, taxi to holding point runway 36 left. At Whiskey
Power
5,
levers
cross
to
runway
flight
36 center.
idle. Condition levers to cut off.
Cleared for taxi to 36 left, holding point
Propeller
36 left. At
levers
Whiskey
to
5,
feather.
cross runway 36 center. Speedbird 759er.
Then electric switches can come off. We'll do that in a second. Gang bar will go up.
6 Victory Uniform,
Do that in a
contact tower
second.
119.225.
Lighting
Have a
master
good flight, sir.
can
Bye-bye.
turn that off.
100.225, thank you very much, goodbye, Lufthansa 615 from.
Parking brake is already on. Emergency lights don't need to be on. Okay, so before we do this, I want to get a log. Okay. Logs exported. And then electrical switches. It's going to be avionics to come off, and then all the other electrical switches. So we do the avionics master afterwards, and then we do all the other electrical switches, and then this will shut down, and the gang bar can go up. Okay, so let's do a bit of a debrief. So the things that went wrong, I need to figure out. I don't think I armed the. Let's go to Unicom.
Speedbird 362, taxi to holding point runway 36 left at Whiskey 5, cross runway 36 center.
Taxi to holding point runway 3.
Okay, so I've done it before. And again, like I said, it's only taken 2 weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks of not flying the plane to lose a bit of proficiency. So the right settings that I need to have in place for I forgot to set NAV2 as a backup to the ILS so that I could see it visually, and I could have at least flown a manual interception of the glide slope rather than getting caught out by the autopilot not automatically intercepting it. This light is now hot in the cabin, so it needs to shut down. Then got 2 aircraft taking off, etc. Then because of that, ATC had to give instructions to re-intercept it, which is fine. Me missing it is fine. I say it was fine. Obviously, it's not good that it happened, but I'm in controlled airspace. I'm taking direction from ATC. I'm in communication with them. They could give me corrective instructions. I followed the corrective instructions. I did wobble around my altitude, but But from there, something threw me off because even though I set the altitude to hold, autopilot didn't hold it. I don't know if it was because it was trying to intercept it and then come back up, or what. I don't know. So went back to flying that manual, and then. Because it hadn't intercepted, I hadn't set the correct approach speed, so the standard of 180 knots to 140 knots. I was still at 220. Again, that's on me. Not flown the Schipol approach before. Probably need to spend a bit more time. I need to study not just the charts, but that's fine. Even if I'd studied it and read the charts, I still probably wouldn't have done it properly, because what I needed to do was put it into the flight plan, and then I need to just study again and refresh my mind on how to ensure that the autopilot will then take speed instructions as well. I need to make sure that this module does that. So on the second approach, so what I'm happy with though was, although I was ambitious at first to say, okay, we might be high, but I can still get down. This plane is a bush plane. It'll land anywhere, so I could still get down and fly visual approach, but the TCAS alert, you can't ignore the TCAS alert, and it said pull up, and that wasn't for terrain. There was another aircraft around, and that aircraft ATC should have seen and should have known was there, and should have either told me or them to separate. So someone was in the wrong place. Now, either I wasn't holding the speed I was supposed to be, so I caught up, but I don't think that's the case. or it was just a netcode warping moment, don't know. I knew I was number 2, ATC knew I was number 2, so I don't know where that other plane came from, if they overran us or what. So better to call the go around, not to try and get flustered, rush the landing whilst there's a TCAS alert going off. And then again, happy to follow ATC's instructions to re-intercept the localizer, which still failed. But interestingly, it wasn't just me getting flustered. There's a lot going on. Busy airport, Schipol today. So from no ATC on route to all the ATC. So even approach forgot that they had sent me over to Tower and that I hadn't come back. Tower hadn't sent me back yet. So when Tower sent me back, that's when approach said, oh, basically they'd been trying to call me, but that wasn't, or they'd been giving me instructions and waiting for responses, but I wasn't supposed to be on their frequency. They had sent me to Tower. I was still on Tower, and Tower was still giving me directions. So that's all fun. I'm happy with that. They're not intercepting the ILS again, like I said, something I haven't got configured properly, and one of you King Air pilots or just any Beechcraft pilot is going to see straight away what I have forgotten and what I haven't got set properly. But it was just a number of things. So yeah, so all it means is that next time, again, that will sit with me. I'll remember that. I'll go, okay, that's what I need to brush up on. That's what I need to not be rusty on in this aircraft again on. Making sure that as part of the approach, it's configured to intercept the approach. Now, on the one hand, I did manage to ensure that it didn't take us direct to Schipol and then try and come back for the terminal arrival. I've done that before by, if you remember, looking back on the flight plan, the next leg on the flight plan was the airport rather than the REDFA 1 Alpha legs of the arrival. So that could have been a pilot deviation moment, and it wasn't. Spotted that one, so happy with that. That's a positive. And then on the cruise and pre-flight, should have been more comfortable as well with the airport diagram for the taxiways. But again, I'm happier that I didn't move, that I held at the last point I was given clearance to. Had written down the taxi instructions, that was fine, and then was just making sure that I could see where that was on the map. Hard to read it on this screen, so just making sure I could see it on the aircraft map, and we would have been fine. But fine, ground helpfully gave us instruction, and it where I knew the runway was, or the taxiway was, I wasn't 100% sure on whether it was going to be a left or right turn. So their right turn just gave a little bit more confidence of reading the airport diagram correctly, and we would have been fine. And then all of the other waypoints along that clearance for taxi would have been fine as well. So happy with that. So as much as that was intense and a lot to do, it's good for me. That was good. It's good to go through that at a busy airport, and technically, although there were things I need to improve on, brush up on, so it's nice and smooth and seamless and professional, we were under instruction and controlled all the time through that controlled airspace to the point of getting to parking and shutting down. So a long debrief, a lot for me to go through. However, thank you to everyone that came along on the flight or who is watching this now. And again, all your comments, constructive or challenging, or welcomed in the comments. If there's anything you think I missed in the observations I've made from the debrief, add those in so I can go back and go, actually, yeah, I needed to double check what I did there as well. But it just highlights again, as I was saying, that I can't afford not to spend time in the aircraft. It is so easy. There's so much that's going on here. Even I think on the Just Flight website or in the documentation for the King Air, from the Black Square King Air, or on their channel, even they say that is so cool but scary. Even they say, and even other YouTube videos I've watched have said, is this is a lot of plane to stay on top of single pilot, because a lot of the comms and avionics changes and stuff the co-pilot would have taken care of. We could have focused on just flying the plane, but good. I want to get to the point where not only can I stay on top of all of those things proficiently, seamlessly, it's not a problem. And as with the latter part of the taxi clearance, because it was written down first time, be able to absorb that and the frequency changes without having to scribble them down. That's where I want to get to. I want to also get to the point where I can fly like patterns, approaches, arrivals, manually, following the gauge, but manually. I've done it a few times, but I want to be really, really good at it. But I want to get to the point where I can set up and fly an RNAV approach or set an RNAV point, and not use the glass cockpit, not use the GT N750. Might not need to. Part of me was thinking that's the route I'd want to go on, because visually it's hard to see in a cockpit, but because I can see, I don't necessarily need to do that now. I can save that for the Piper Arrow and the VFR flight. Enough rambling, enough debrief. I'm not unhappy with that. Could have gone much worse. So I will take that, take the learnings, take the bruises, and go with it. This is nothing like the pilot deviation one. This one, we were in contact with AT the entire time and didn't go where we weren't supposed to go. And was, yeah, I'm happier as well with that. I'm gonna go around. Anyway, enough talk. Let's turn off the avionics, and then after we turn off the avionics, so yeah, once we turn off the avionics, and it does that, we'll then turn off the rest of the electrical switches and put the gang bar down. And that's it. End of the flight. Been a long flight, much longer than anticipated, but that's fine. I'm still here, me, co-pilot. I don't know why we can't see the co-pilot, but I'm in the cockpit. But hey, on the ground, an eventful flight. Still my favourite cockpit. Next flight will be the one back out, just where additional baggage goes. So instead, let's do a post-flight check. Check the trailing edge, ailerons, make sure everything is still good, no fuel leakages. Check out the undercarriage, especially the tyres. Make sure we didn't run over any foreign objects on the taxi in or on the runway. The lights, all the probes. Again, no leakages coming from the engine. No damage to the propeller blades. Check out front carriage, wheel, looks good. No damage to these either. Again, no fluids. Leading edge looks good. No damage to the lights, they're all functional, good. All the probes, fine. Trailing edge. Take a look at mechanisms for the ailerons, all look fine, as do the flaps. Okay. Let's get our baggage. Let's go. This is us, Amsterdam Schipol.